Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward.
Hey guys, Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not an expert. Do your own research. Let's just look at BTC USD and maybe some altcoin charts today. It's still very choppy overall, and I'm still not super clear, so I'll just give that a disclaimer early on. I haven't really been super sure or confident on the market over the last few weeks. And my overall timing has just been terrible, honestly. I kept thinking that 45,000 will get tapped, and I still believe that, but it didn't really happen the way I expected. The range lows were tapped before. But anyways, let's just get to it. This is BTC USD on the daily. You can see here the yearly open on January 1st of 2021 was tapped perfectly. This was like the exact bottom so far. And what we're seeing over many different exchanges, this is Bybits, but we saw like pretty decent follow-up on volume for the sell-off yesterday. And we're seeing like a decent overall reaction, like in terms of the buy volume. This is like, if you look on other exchanges, like the buy volume is pretty significant from what I've seen. This is Coinbase here, and this was FTX, and this was BitMEX. You could actually see like quite a bit of buy volume on that candle. So what are we looking at here? I mean, it's still overall in a big range. You can't really argue differently, in my opinion. And you can just mark the range highs somewhere around like 40.1k or so. This has been tapped twice. And then the range lows overall have been tapped several times as well. You can mark these levels, a few different levels around 31k, and this swing low from that nasty wick on May 19th at 30k, and then the yearly open at 28.7, and this is going to vary on different exchanges, but this is the overall range you're playing with right now. And yesterday we saw like this massive wick down with a decent amount of volume as a follow-up. This to me shows that this is like the short-term bottom, but I don't know if this is like the macro bottom by any means. I do believe, as I said before, that 45k will get tapped over the next few weeks. Again, I have said that over the last few weeks though, so I could just be like very, very wrong on that. If we go to like new lows, like meaning if price starts high time frame closing underneath 28k significantly, then I will be very surprised. Like if we just go straight to 20k from here, that would be a little bit of a surprise to me personally. I still feel that there's more liquidity higher, but this is still like the overall range that we're playing. Again, yearly open was tapped, and now price appears to be having a short-term lower high. But these are the levels that I've marked. I just am using the BTC USD on the 1 hour. And you can see right here, again, like these up candles before big down moves are usually interesting supply zones where there usually are resistance areas. And we can definitely see that here at this 34k level. Price wicked into this area, tapped it several times, swing failure pattern up, and then now it headed lower. And now it tested these former range highs around 33k. I'm still expecting quite a bit of a chop overall, but I do believe that there will be at least a move up to 36k in the short term. And the reason for that is that there were a lot of liquidations back yesterday on June 22nd, and there was a decent amount of buy volume follow-up as well. So to me, after we saw big pushes down from these former areas back on June 21st and June 20th with high sell volume, to me, like there are still going to be sellers as evidence of this current move, but I believe that price will eventually break through that this next area up to 37k, because there's not going to be as many sellers because this area was tapped 3 times already. Now, with that said, like I'm not expecting like a full reversal quite yet. Like I'm still expecting like a lot of chop. But to me, I do believe that in the short term, this 34K area will get busted through. Certainly possible this is just a lower high as well. Like, I mean, you know, maybe price just like breaks through and then just goes lower beyond 33K. I would be a little bit surprised myself, but I mean, given the overall market structure of this move, like, you know, this has made pretty much nothing but lower highs over the last few days. So, you know, I personally, it could just be hopium for me, but I still think that 36K is like kind of the level to test. If you start looking on some EMAs, even higher, like the 38K region could be like another interesting level up if and when price gets to that point. Again, supply zone that you can mark right here. Anywhere from the 37 to 38K area, you know, not last up move for a big down move. This will be a level of interest, and it is also coincides with the 200 EMA on the 4 hour. So overall, like, as I said, I don't have a great, like, I don't have super strong conviction on this overall. I do believe that like 37 or 36K will get tapped in the short term. Like, I think breaking up, but then like a pullback down to 34 or even lower is certainly possible. Overall, I still think that it's entirely possible that like the 45K region gets tapped, but you know, again, I was clearly pretty wrong overall on the last few moves on this. I'll just clean up this chart as well. So an interesting also observation that I made yesterday too was that I was looking at some of these charts, and you can tell from these big wicks down with high sell volume, with lots of liquidations. You could see back in January, price tapped this area back at 30K on January 11th, big sell volume. And then it returned to this area again with a decent amount of sell volume on January 21st, but it wasn't nearly as high as that first cascade down. What you're seeing too across these other situations, again, high sell volume on February 23rd, price kind of revisits near that area, not nearly as high sell volume, and then it rebounds. I think it's just because there's just not as many sellers, obviously, like given the overall structure of that price action. You'll see big sellers on those huge moves down on the initial first move, but when price revisits that area again, there's usually not going to be as many sellers in those areas on the second go. So, as I said before in a tweet yesterday, big sell volume on the first move down, and then when price comes back to that level, you generally don't see as much sell volume. It's kind of like a double bottom, where there's like one last shakeout before a move up. So like you'll see like a big move down, high sell volume, everyone's super bearish, price kind of grinds up, returns that level, more sell volume, but not as much as the first. And then you start to see decent buy volume coming in and a short-term reversal. So that's kind of like what I've been observing overall. Like you can again see it on like this area as well, like big wick down. And then when price revisits that area, there's like not as much sell volume. And then some, this one was more of like a bearish retest. But if you look back at the former areas, you'll see like some decent buy volume following up, and even more so on the lower areas too. Like this is like a pretty good example here. Like pretty big sell volume near Thanksgiving of November 2020, big move down. Price kind of gets near that area, not quite as low. More sell volume on December 10th, followed by like some big green buy volume. Of course, this market structure is still different than what we're currently seeing, but how it compares to this current move is you'll see like big move down, obviously what we saw on May 19th, big sell volume, and price kind of revisited near that area with again high sell volume, but not nearly as high as it was before. And now what you want to see is decent buy volume to follow up here. But again, like let's just take it one level at a time. Like I'm not really going to call for like a huge reversal right away. Like to me, I still feel that like 45 will come eventually, but again, I sound like a broken record at this point. It would make sense to me. It goes like 36 and then chops around, and then like maybe another test at the highs again around 41K, and then a move up. So those are kind of my thoughts on Bitcoin right now. Like I do think that the short-term bottom is in personally, given this last move down. And if it goes to like 20K from here, that's pretty surprising to me. But altcoins in general look pretty terrible. I did buy some RUNE yesterday. I bought RUNE because of this massive sell volume overall. It looks like capitulation to me, and there was some decent buy volume. Like if you look again at January 22nd on the 4-hour, like this is like the highest buy volume that we saw, I think maybe all year long, which is pretty incredible to look at on the 4-hour. So it was like a pretty nice reversal in the short term. Again, it's like maybe a lower high. I don't know, like could just be underwater bag holders getting out. But I mean, to me, like this super high sell volume was like a short-term reversal, in my opinion. Do I think that altcoins are going to reverse overall? Like probably not. Like these charts are still bearish to me. Like I think it's likely that you see something like this where like, you know, you just see like a lot of chop and just like an accumulation. Something like how you saw back in January where you see like lots of chop. That would make sense to me for a lot of these altcoins. I mean, they just look pretty bad. Like this just looks like not bullish at all. What you need to see for altcoin recovery is just like a long consolidation period, in my opinion. I mean, in hindsight, like yeah, these were like really overheated. I was just like I was so wrong about like coins like INJ and other coins. But what you'll want to see is just like a lot of consolidation overall. Now, I will say if Bitcoin does go to 45, like I think it will, then I expect altcoins to like also follow. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they make like a 50% plus move from current prices, if not more. But that's again assuming that Bitcoin will go higher. You know, if Bitcoin makes another leg down, then these altcoins are just going to die. Like you'll see another like negative 50% for sure. If like Bitcoin goes to like 20Ks, this will go to like $2 or something. So that's kind of like my overall outlook on altcoins right now. Like I'm just keeping my trades pretty quick and short. Like for instance, as I said, I bought RUNE yesterday. I'm going to be selling around like the low 7s. Like I have my sells already kind of spaced out, and like high 6s as well. But that's kind of my overall plan with coins like RUNE or any other altcoins. And if it goes higher, then I'll de-risk more of my altcoins as well. But this is like not the time to like just buy and like let your shit ride, in my opinion. Like it's still very, very uncertain. So those are kind of my overall thoughts on altcoins and Bitcoin right now. I do think that the short-term bottom is in for Bitcoin. Like I think that like I'm bullish to the medium short term, but like I'd like to see it break 37K first before I start making any predictions. If you see 37K broken, then you'll see like I think you'll see like 40K and then like a pretty swift rejection, in my opinion. But let's just see how price gets there. So stay fluid and active, and always be willing to change your plan. But good luck.